We're halfway through the season already. This is nonsense. It's gone too quickly. I'm sick of it. The season is basically over. We can basically predict whoever's making the playoffs right now. It's ridiculous. I'm Tebs. This is SJ. I've been covering this sport for too many years. Too many. I was young and my knees worked when I first started doing it. SJ still had a hairline. Mental.
Wow, that just wasn't necessary. That
absolutely crazy. This is
There's
how
no
long we've been.
pre-warning.
This is how long we've been doing this. And this is how long. Gloucestershire Gladiators getting to 2,000 followers. Always good. We're going to talk about week 7. There's a lot going on. There's too much going on. You're going to see that I've made an error, and I will fix it. That is, no, I haven't. I only made it in the predictions. That the it's not Beckett versus. No, it's not Nottingham versus Durham. I got too excited. We could just go straight into it. Or we talk about, how's your week been?
I mean,
it doesn't matter how your week's been. We're talking about football, mate. So tomorrow, obviously, it's the UE Bullets versus Loughborough. I might go down for it. Don't know. It's really cold. Probably Hillside Gardens is really cold, so maybe not. But then I've got nothing. I've got nothing else to do apart from watch college football. But I'd rather just watch college.
State, to be honest.
Is it? No, I'll be good boy and I'll go and watch the good Uniball game. To be fair, for me, this game, UE versus Loughborough, this game needs to be big for the Bullets, I think, anyway. Obviously, like the Bullets are the Bullets, right? But I think, over the last few, it seems like they need to reclaim the narrative of the UE Bullets. And this is the game to do it.
I think they started to do it last week when they beat Durham, I think.
But I mean, like just being there for that game is like it just seems like Durham had a little bit more juice, and obviously, like juice doesn't win. Well, no, juice does in some capacities win championships, right? But for me, it's just a case of they just need to do. I need to get that feeling back about the UE Bullets when it's not quite there, for me anyway. And for me, like I think the second half of the season for the UE Bullets, where they have Durham and Notts again. Obviously, they did beat Notts. For me, like this is sort of a legacy building season. In the sense of, like doing that hour long interview with Ethan. Like he spoke about trying to actually create a legacy in this country for sports. And let's be honest, he's done a pretty good job so far. He's already won one championship with the Bullets last year, being the quarterback who got the Aztecs their first championship. But I mean, you never want to be the quarterback for a team that has had success in the past that doesn't win the championship this year. But then it's also a case of it's a legacy game in the quarterback position for not just Ethan himself, but we have to remember Jadrian Clark's first year at OC as well.
Mm-hmm.
You want that to be a success.
I think it will be. I don't think we've seen the best of UE yet. They're notorious for always bringing a couple of people in January. So I think there's still some parts missing in that Bullets team, I reckon.
I think so as well. And they've got to go to, and it's just Loughborough, and then I think they're done. Right. The second one, I mean, Notts Gold versus Beckett, not that much to discuss here with sort of very Leeds Beckett game, if I'm honest. I
think if Beckett are if there's anything Beckett can do right now, it's just really turn their attention fully on that Loughborough game.
I completely 100% agree with you.
Every other game is a waste of time for them.
Every single game is a waste of time. Like they can win that Loughborough game and stay up. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but it all has to be focused on that Loughborough game. So moving on to the Premiership North, Leeds Griffins, they haven't played in a while. They're taking on NTU, who've just beaten Warwick.
When did Leeds
let,
even last play? They've not
it,
played since like week 2 or something, right?
I think it may be week 2 or it was either no, not. It was either week 2 or 3. I don't recall.
Yeah.
But it was either they've had a long layoff. We've obviously seen it in the Prem South that Portsmouth beating Exeter, they've been able to sort of turn it around. But comparing NTU to Exeter, I don't think is fair here. Obviously it's not out of the realm of possibility here for the Leeds Griffins, but they lose, and I suspect they will against NTU, despite the fact that Leeds have when they've gone down to Nottingham. Historically, that's what they've struggled. NTU are coming up to them. I still don't think they can get it done. I'd love to see the. I'd love to
I
see
think
the sprinkling of hope that Portsmouth have by beating Exeter.
I think they've had a month, we reckon, to prepare for this game at this point.
Yeah,
So you'd hope that they can turn it around. Those the 2 games they lost were close, and on
yeah.
both occasions it was freak plays that lost them the game. So Leeds are a bit of an unknown at the moment, and that
I'd agree with that.
we don't know much about them right now. Still,
But I mean, I can't see. I mean, NTU are on a roll. I said that they were my dark horse. They've got the head to head against Warwick right now. NTU are leading the Prem North. Newcastle versus Warwick. I think it could be a very, very bad day to be a Newcastle Raider. I think it could be a very, very bad day on Sunday to be a Newcastle Raider. The Warwick Wolves do not strike me as a team who are going to take losing on their homecoming
they're not
stage
going to
at
lose
Bucks
2 in
Park.
a row.
No, that I do feel like the Newcastle Raiders could be in for a bit of a bit of a rough day, if I'm completely honest. Like we know like how hard Warwick train, and I know how much they've how much extra training they've had to endure because of that loss to NTU at their I think it was either called Touchdown. I believe that's what it's called. Their
Touchdowns
event.
what they're called. There's yeah.
Yeah. Right. So I think Warwick have got this. If I was still in the inside brick ball last man standing, I would probably put my pick on Warwick this week, but I'm not because of the Worcester Royals. Um,
I didn't. I'm still in it, and I didn't pick them for this week.
who did you pick?
Um, who did I pick? I picked Hallam to beat Leicester
Oh, that's
because there's a catch in all this: is that
easy money.
you've still got to have the playoffs. The playoffs are still part of last man standing. So there's clearly a world where if you use up the playoff winners, you can't win because then you've got no one to pick.
Well, luckily for you, because I'm out of it. If you lose, you are fired. So
You can't fight.
you're fired. It's cut and dry as that, and still salty, bro. I am still salty. I'm so salty. Like I feel like every single
Going out
time.
week 1 is diabolical.
Shut up, mate. Grow up. I'm well aware. Um,
You've been in this game for how long, and you're out already?
so long, so long. It's been terrible. Um,
Game's gone.
game's gone. Prem South.
Yay, we're
It's,
back.
you're traveling to Cardiff. You're going to be playing Cardiff on turf. There is a change here. Cardiff looking good. Sam Harvey in at QB
I'll
last
be
week.
honest. I'm gonna have to run off for about a minute just to
That's
grab
fine.
this food.
He's going to grab Chinese. I could.
Talk about the other
Actually,
game.
I'll talk about any other game. I'll talk about SGS Pride versus Portsmouth. So SGS Pride and Portsmouth, obviously, that is a rivalry game. These two teams have played each other constantly, and they do not like each other at all. It's going to be a really interesting one, just to see if Portsmouth can potentially, get into the heads of the SGS Pride, rattle them a bit, especially coming off that win against Exeter. Portsmouth do have momentum on their side, which they haven't had all season long. But also SGS, they're coming off a loss to Brunel. They're not going to be very impressed with that particular um, ending of that game. So you've got two teams here where there's sort of a revenge game. There's momentum for the Portsmouth Destroyers, and obviously, I think we've all picked the SGS Pride here. But I mean, Portsmouth could immediately erase any sort of relegation predictions if they beat the SGS Pride. But for me anyway, I don't really think it's going to happen. While SJ's still going, we could quickly talk about the Scottish one. Obviously, we can say one game is going to be the Edinburgh Napier Knights versus the Aberdeen Bulls. Aberdeen Bulls yet to fulfil a fixture, so and I don't think I don't think they're going to be doing it, especially against my anyway number one ranked team in Division One, the Edinburgh Napier Knights. Obviously, the more interesting fixture in that Scottish one is the Edinburgh Mavericks versus the Stirling Klansmen. Edinburgh 2-1-1. Last game for them was a draw against Glasgow. Stirling 2-1. Obviously, one win apiece for both those teams over Aberdeen, so a walkover win, so not played. But the Mavericks have a little bit more sauce, but you can't forget how much the Edinburgh Napier Knights have demolished both the Klansmen and the Edinburgh Mavericks. It's continually impressive for the Napier Knights, because I think even at this point, even though the Edinburgh Napier Knights are only 3-0, the Mavericks and the Klansmen is sort of a battle for second place. We discussed it on the show on Monday that we're not entirely sure if the Scottish one will have 3 representatives in the playoffs like they did last year. But I mean, you really are battling it out, and especially with that 2020 draw for the Mavericks and the Tigers, really does sort of open up the door for the Stirling Klansmen to get there, make that impact, and make the playoffs. But they are going to need a big win here against the Edinburgh Mavericks. SJ is still talking. I tell you what, it's a very, very strange Instagram chat today. Very, very strange. So Northern one again, another game that is a pretty simple discussion point here. Lancashire 4-0, much in the same way Napier. They're going to probably win this division. They're facing off against Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool did beat Edgehill last week. Liverpool and Edgehill, as far as I'm concerned, still in that double relegation position. Yeah, Lancashire all the way. But I think the rematch here between the Tyrants and the MMU Eagles is going to be, I think it could be good. Obviously, the MMU Eagles went out to a very, very early lead in the first game, but then the Tyrants just came back and smashed them. So there is hope there for the Eagles.
I mean, I
But
expect Manchester to take that on.
yeah, so do I. I mean, it's very demoralising to be able to do that to a team where you've looked like you're winning. You've held them to, I think, 14 at the half. We almost saw it from Bath last week. So it could be. So let's talk about it then. Brunel versus Cardiff.
Does it count as an international game? Technically, it does.
I mean, if you want to put it like that, you certainly can do.
Yeah, nice 3-hour journey. Not too shabby.
I mean, do you expect sort of anything different here? I mean, you've had a break, but
I think Cardiff are better. They've got better, I think, as the season's gone on.
yeah,
there's definitely a lot of confidence in that team right now. So I do think it will be a closer game. But then I also think, the way we play on turf is completely different to how we are on grass. So against SGS, don't know. David, running back goes up a notch. But yeah, I don't know. I think I do think it'll be a close game.
yeah, I think it'll be an interesting one. I do think the Cardiff are going to be, a playoff contending side. Do not get me wrong, but I mean, can anyone stop Brunel? That is realistically the question.
I do think Cardiff are actually the second best team in the south.
Well, I mean, I do. Don't get me wrong. When it comes down to that rematch,
they should have won that SGS
oh,
game. They should
hang
have won
on. Hold on. I will say that's really fun. I started talking about. I started talking about the Scottish ones. That the Edinburgh Napier Knights have already won that game. So
Kuda can stop Brunel.
Cletus, I mean, that's a player and a half. I'm looking forward to seeing him on Sunday.
Kuda, when Kuda played Brunel last, it was we set records.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, I forgot that that game has happened
Yeah,
recently.
but they scored
Um,
though, so they can hang that one up next to the made up Div one.
stop. No, well,
What?
to be
I will
fair,
be
if
mean. I will be mean. If they're mean about my team, I will be mean.
to be fair, Bristol sort of changing their like playoff contention one to win as last year. Not technically wrong.
No,
If we're really honest, that's not technically wrong.
no, it's not technically.
But you never want to technically win a a division. You want to win a division. Um, so yeah, I mean, sorry. Go back to Cardiff. That rematch for the Cobras versus the Pride, I think is going to be very, very interesting. Because it wasn't a massive scoreline for them. You know,
No.
and I've
When is that game?
people have watched that game back, and they've said, did Cardiff deserve to win that game, or was it more likely that Cardiff would win that game? Yeah, but I mean, it's all well and good if you deserve to win. There's differentiations in being able to win as well.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to see when that game is. It is the 8th of February at Old SGS Pride. Where have we got to? Have you got anything to add for Mavericks versus Klansmen?
Not really. No.
Not really. Lancashire versus Raptors? No, probably not.
Lancashire to win.
Yeah,
I think
right.
they could
Okay, so
repeat that.
I mean, we spoke about Tyrants versus Eagles. That the Eagles. It wouldn't surprise me if the Eagles did do it, but they need to find some consistency again. I think the Eagles, they're aware that they're safe now. They just have to try and push for the playoffs because otherwise it probably will end up being the Tyrants. In fact, because Manchester have already beaten MMU, I think Manchester win this game. Manchester are in the playoffs because I think they'll beat Edge Hill and they'll think they'll beat Liverpool forever how long it's left for them on that one. Because I imagine
Well,
the Tyrants. I imagine the Tyrants' one loss is the
I think
Rams.
both teams. I think both teams will get in the playoffs.
You think MMU get in the playoffs?
I think both will get in.
Interesting. I'd be interested to see MMU in the playoffs because MMU are not a bad football team, right? They're
No.
not by any stretch of the imagination. So I'd be interested to see them make the playoffs. But for me anyway, like rubber stamp it. Manchester win this game. Manchester will be playing football in the postseason. Midlands, Notts Green versus the Sheffield Sabres. Nottingham Green. The Sabres are still an
I
interesting
think they'll
concept.
dominate it still.
I think the Green will, but obviously the Sabres are an interesting concept, right? They've got beat Derby, beat Leicester, 50-0 versus Hallam. Wouldn't surprise me if there's a similar scoreline.
I think they'll
Maybe a
not
bit.
want that to happen again. So I think it will be. I don't think it'll be anywhere near that kind of
No.
scoreline. But yeah, it feels like with Nottingham that on both teams is that when it's clear that they've won the game, I think they do heavily rotate. They do get game time for everyone as much as
Yeah.
possible. They're
And
not a
then
team that I think sits there and runs it up intentionally.
no, like this is it. Like we discussed it on Monday that obviously you've got Napier in Scotland. You've got Lancashire in the northern one. When the time has come now to discuss Nottingham Green as a promotion contending team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think it's going to be going any other way than to the Nottingham Green. Again, we've got another game that it's not a massive amount of discussion going on. Obviously, we did have Joss on a few weeks ago where he did discuss, the Hallam losing to Leicester last year was very much a wake up call for the Hallam Warriors. I think because of that, obviously, I think it's definitely not going to happen this time. Hallam 1-1. Leicester very well could be joining Leeds Beckett on Sunday in the 0-5 club, 0-5 before Christmas club, which is not a club you want to sit in.
That's it. Was that their last games before Christmas as well? Because that's even worse. If you sat there 0-5, and you've got to spend 6 weeks just thinking about it.
Exactly right. You have to know. You have to know that you're going down, and you're going to be replaced by probably ARU or Cambridge, which is especially in the Midlands. Southwest one. I'm sure this will send the Instagram chat off. It's the game that we will be at. It's a 4 p.m. prime time kickoff for the 2-2 Bristol Barracuda and the 1-2 Southampton Stags. The last time this game took place just a couple of weeks ago, 7-0 to the Barracuda. And if you look at the results for the last few years, they have been close. They have been very close. And I feel like Bristol come in here, they look past Southampton. Obviously, they don't have a massive turnaround. Obviously, this doesn't really happen too much in Uniball, where normally you'll have your 7 days to prepare. They don't have 7 days to prepare, as they will be facing Bath next Friday. If they look past Southampton, I'm not sure it will go very well for the Barracuda. However, my money is still on Bristol.
I agree. But I mean, these games are always close between these two teams, aren't they? So it's not. I think it's going to be one that does go down to the final few minutes, hopefully.
It's going to be interesting to see like the evolution of the Bristol offense, because obviously we were there when they faced Bournemouth. What was that, week 3? And
yes, it feels so ages ago now.
yeah, it does feel like ages ago. But we will be gracing the old Coombe Dingle with our with our presence, and absolutely, I'll never get tired of saying Coombe Dingle, but that's where we'll be. That's where we'll be. On the flip side, and from what I can tell by the DMs I'm currently being sent, I'll have a very special guest on the microphone with me on Sunday. So just
Is that
just
that scares me?
yeah, yeah. Well, it's who you'd expect it to be.
Why is he not playing?
It's gonna, huh?
Why are they not playing?
They're playing the day before.
Oh, it's him.
Yeah, he'll be head of HR. The head of HR will be on comms, and there's still both pictures of me and him wearing Bristol jerseys, so it's not looking good for us. Next game, Plymouth versus Bath. Plymouth. I do feel bad for Plymouth.
Yeah,
I like
I
Plymouth,
liked Plymouth when we went
but
to watch them play, when we watched them last year. I thought they were quite an impressive team, to be honest. Um,
but I think that they've just lost. Too many people, and for me, like I'm so high on the Bath Killer Bees right now. I'm so high on them. I'm a big fan, big fan. And I can't wait to go and see him play next week. I don't think, even though it's at Plymouth, I don't think they're going to get past the Killer Bees. I really don't.
After how long does it take to get to Plymouth? That's a
A fair
trek,
while.
isn't it? That is
A fair while. Yeah, but I still think that. Sorry, even Gretzinger just saying Coombe Dingle. The legendary Coombe Dingle. Yeah, I don't think even with that big travel, I don't think Bath are going to lose this game.
I'd be surprised. I think Bath are a better team this year than they have been in previous years.
Yeah, so do I. I'm very much excited to see how they do. They have got talent there, both on offense and defense. Even though my expectations for Bournemouth may have slid slightly, they're still one of the best teams, not just in Division 1 in the country. And Bath almost had them. Almost had them. If you haven't seen the video, I did clip together sort of
Close.
the last minute of that game from my phone. So
If that
yeah,
game had been live
move on
streamed,
to
there would have been
the.
a lot of people tuning in for the last couple of minutes. That's for
Oh,
sure.
oh, unbelievable. I was sweating. People were tuning into the Depth Chart Sports story for 4 updates. Southeast one. I think we've got a pair of very interesting fixtures this weekend in the Southeast
This
one.
is the week where we're going to know. We're finally going to know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
is going on over there. At Kings, we've
Like,
not been able to say what's going on.
so you've got 2 0-3 teams, UCL versus Kingston. For me, anyway, this is how I would view it, right? Because Kingston have had that -2 taken off the books for the medical um, not turning up issue from whoever it is. I think if I'm the Cougars, I am much more inspired to play this game because with that -2, it would have been very difficult to stave off relegation. But
massively.
because they've had it wiped off the record books, they know that they can stay up, and they know the team they have to beat to stay up is the UCL Emperors.
Uh, but I don't think they'll do it.
Do you not think they'll do it?
No,
I mean,
I think
I've
UCL
gone
will
for
win this one.
Kingston. I think it'll be a very good game. I think it'll be close. I don't think it's going to be as
I don't think
cut
it's
and
going to be a
dry.
high scoring game.
I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game, but I do think it'll be close.
I think it'll be 6-0 UCL.
6-0.
6-0.
Two field goals.
No.
If you get that right, let me write it down. 6-0. UCL. I think we close. I just think Kingston are quite a proud team. We know this, right? I think they have
They
to
love a
understand that this is
TikTok.
their opportunity. Love a TikTok,
Do
but
you know every Uniball team loves a TikTok at the moment?
yeah. Which is why we post to our TikTok. If you don't follow our TikTok, it's Depth Chart Sports on TikTok. Yeah, simple as. Yeah, I think Kingston will do it. I think UCL seem a bit lethargic from
I mean,
from from
they've not scored so far this season.
no. Kingston, on the other hand, I just think that they know that they've been saved and they're not going to let that opportunity go to waste. I'm going to give it to the Cougars. Then on the flip side, the 2-0 KCL Regents taking on the 2-1 Kent Falcons. Obviously, Kent 12-0 loss to Brighton and then going back against Brighton and beating them 24-0. KCL have only played 2 games, but because I think we were so wrapped up in the Kent versus Brighton duo of games, KCL did get left by the wayside because they hadn't played that much. Obviously, a big win last week. If KCL take the division, no one's really going to complain.
No, I think if they win on Sunday, I think they've stamped their claim on the division. If I'm honest,
I think so. Like,
I
don't get
think
me wrong, I still think Kent are good. I still think Kent will make the playoffs. Truth be told, I think Brighton will make the playoffs as well. But KCL stamping that. However, KCL probably would like to do a bit better in the playoffs than they did last year, and that should be some degree of motivation for them. But
I think playoffs last year for KCL was disappointing.
yeah,
Like great regular season and then just fell apart in the playoffs.
we see that we see that so often, unfortunately.
I wonder why.
But yeah,
Never seen that before.
but for me, like, I think I'm going to give it to the Kent Falcons, but KCL win it. Not going to surprise me. I think it will stamp the division. Southern won another good couple of games here.
This division is a mess.
This division is a mess, and we love it. So it's the second meeting between the Oxford Lancers and the UEA Pirates, very much in the same vein as Kingston versus UCL. I think the loser of this game, they will be playing Division 2 football next year.
Well, I think UEA have got to pull some out of the bag here because what was the score
100%.
the first time round? They've got to try and beat the head-to-head as well. That's the other issue.
Let's see. If I remember correctly, it wasn't
27-6 or something?
I think so. I think maybe 28-6, but don't quote me on that
it's gonna take. To be honest, it will take a lot.
It'll take a lot for him, 100%.
I'm trying to think of a time when. I was going to say I'm trying to think of a time where Oxford have lost by 22.
Mate, I just want to point out that my knowledge is unmatched. 28-6.
It was 28-6.
No, 26 no, I've got it wrong. 26-8. almost unmatched ball knowledge. Yeah, they're going to need something big. They need to win by 23 points.
No.
And it's at Oxford.
No.
And it's Oxford, and Oxford are no, I can't see it going. I think we've all picked the Lancers. Because for me, like I can't see the Pirates beating the Lions or the Hurricanes or Brooks. I can't see it.
It's a shame though, because as much as it probably seems like I do just batter UEA week in week out.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like them as a D2 side is crazy. Almost as much as Birmingham being a D1 side. I'm
trying to think of when they were last in Div 2, if they've ever been in Div 2.
Oh,
I
also,
can't.
Nathan, where will I be on Sunday? I will be live streaming the Bristol Barracuda versus the Southampton Saints. Kick off at 4 p.m. on Depth Chart Sports' YouTube page. Um,
Christ, I'm dying over here. Um,
do you
yeah,
think
I
they've
mean,
ever been a D2 side?
I don't think they have. I'm trying to
No.
no 17 like post pre-COVID, UEA versus Kent used to be a massive matchup every
Mm.
single year until they eventually got promoted. So I don't think they've ever been Div 2.
It's such an interesting thing. Like it does feel almost Birmingham-y. Like Birmingham playing D1 football is weird. You know, UEA playing D2 football is weird. Um, so yeah, I mean, but we're all going for the Lancers. Now on the flip side, Birmingham versus Hertfordshire 2. Obviously, last time this game was looking like it was going the way of Hertfordshire, but then a QB kneel went awry. Birmingham got the ball back, kicked the field goal, won the game.
My
Which was,
understanding on that is that they'd never repped under centre. They'd never done anything to do with that.
I understand. I can understand how that could go wrong. You know, as someone who's played centre, it's strange. You know, because instead of just firing it back, someone's got to take it from
Yeah,
your that region of your body, and it's strange. Um,
I think it's because if we think about it, I think I've gone with Hearts because I think
yeah,
really okay. Yes, Brum won the game, but they won the game on a miracle. That's the only way to
yeah,
describe
and
that. It's a
and
miracle.
and then this is it. It's with Hearts beating Brooks as well. Obviously, like they were one of the teams we thought would do well and make the playoffs. I think they win this game. They're going to be going into Christmas anyway with the division very much in hand. Theirs to lose.
It's just such an odd team, Hearts.
Yeah,
Like they just what the title, what they 3-1 at the moment.
2-1.
2-1. Yeah, but I think about them and I'm just thinking like they're not really that dominant, but then they just get it done.
Yeah, and so sometimes that's all you need. Very much
Because that's
Denver
it.
Broncosy.
Yeah, they're a freak play away from having been 3-0.
To be fair, the game was close. The whole game only went up due to a long snapped. Yeah, this is what I mean. It's a close game. It's a close
Yeah.
game. And this is why we have split it. I don't remember who has picked it or picked who, but I know that I've definitely picked Hearts. If I go over to the Depth Chart Sports Instagram page, everyone should like, follow, share, subscribe. I don't know. Let's have a look. So Cam and Jamie, the two people who aren't here, picked the Lions, and me, you, and the computer have picked the Hertfordshire Hurricanes.
Is
So
it actually AI that we're using?
yeah, definitely AI. Moving on to D2. I like D2 this week. I know some people don't. I like D2 a lot this week. My God, there is a chance, SJ. There is a chance that someone in the Northeast too can come away with a victory this week, as it is the York St John Jaguars making their season debut in week 6, going up against the York Centurions. Everyone else has picked the York Centurions. I've gone for the York St John Jaguars
Hang on a minute. Let's just
because
have a look at the weather out there. Let's
I
just
know,
have a
right?
look.
Let's have a look. We could be talking about nothing.
Oh, it's raining all
Oh,
day tomorrow. It's raining
oh,
all day Sunday.
brilliant.
Do they play on a 3G pitch?
York? Probably not.
This is what I was. So my friend up at Sunderland, who was a Brunel before, this has bewildered him. None of these teams have got a 3G pitch, and they play in probably one of the wettest parts of the country.
Yeah,
It don't make sense.
yeah. Nothing wrong
Like,
with that.
just surely there's a 3G somewhere they can all rent out, and yeah,
No.
hopefully the game happens.
Hopefully it gets
What
played, right?
what would you do if it's a draw?
I would quit football. I'd leave the sport.
Do you think
I would.
Coach Connor would as well?
Yes. Yeah, I think he would. Nil.
Zero zero three.
Imagine 0-0 draw. Do you know what I think would happen there? If a team goes 0-3, do you know what I think happens? I think Tonyo shuts the div down. I think they just shut the division down. They just go no. Do you know what? It is funny that like because everyone's in for a shout in that div, like Hull or a shout. You know, York are currently on 2 Bucks points. They played 2 games. YSJ could top the leaderboard here with a victory. I've gone for York St John. They've just had time to prepare, and it's a York derby game. Obviously, I'd love to see a York St John victory here, just 'cause it'd be really really funny. But they are a team that have struggled quite considerably in their tenure. But yeah, I'm just sort of having a Hail Mary there with York St John because of how stressful that division has been. If York St John pull off the win, doesn't surprise me at all. Um, yeah,
Have you ever been to York?
yes, I have actually, mate. Yeah,
I've heard
it's
it's
nice.
nice. I've never been.
It's not. It is very nice. We're not fun day out in York.
I don't want to do that because it might get called off.
Yeah, that's a good
That
point.
has to be the stipulations of any fun day out we do. They
Yeah,
must be on the losing pitch. We're elitist.
we are elitist. We're gonna do the Northwest 2 last. DMU versus ARU. Jamie, for whatever reason, has picked DMU. We
That was
don't
a
really know why.
bit of a. Have DMU ever recovered from that alumni
No,
scandal a few years
no,
back? No.
genuinely no.
Is that our last big scandal in Bucks? It is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say so. Bournemouth don't count.
no, because they've bounced straight back, and no one cares. DMU haven't, and I suspect that they will. Don't get me wrong. I
Oh
suspect
yeah,
that they
yeah, yeah. They're
will.
going to come back at some point. It's
They are going
just
to come back at some point, but this year
not
is
this
just
weekend.
a year of Cambridgeshire based university Uniball sides, right? Like we've already said when it comes to that final week of the season, and it's Cambridge and ARU will go to that game. Simple as that. So Southeast 2, Imperial versus Greenwich. I think Imperial's on a roll. Greenwich will 0-1-1. Give me the Immortals.
Yeah, Imperial. I think
Give me the
Imperial
Immortals.
closing in on returning to Div 1.
Yeah, which is I'm happy for that.
I'd
Essex
love to know
versus.
what numbers they've got, like how many players they have these
We can
days.
ask.
I can
We'll
actually have
ask.
a look.
We'll ask. We can have a look. So while SA is having a look, Essex versus QMBL. QMBL are well aware that they're still in the hunt. They're well aware they're still in the hunt. Essex 0-2, losing to City. I like City. That's not good. That's not good. QMBL for me are taking that. In fact,
Yeah, I think
while SJ's doing this, Southwest 2, it is the Worcester Royals versus the Gloucestershire Gladiators. And I'm going to try and enact my vengeance through my former club. It's
30.
being played at Worcester. It's being played at Worcester. I'm going to allow the Gloucestershire Gladiators to act as my hammer against the Worcester Royals. And then, then Worcester will be done. The transaction will be complete. But as far as I'm concerned, blind faith, because Gloucestershire is such a weird team this year, all my money on the Gladiators. All my money on the Gladiators.
Shameless.
Shameless. Absolutely shameless. Essex QMBL. That QMBL versus Imperial game at the end of the season is going to be disgusting. Same as ARU versus Cambridge. Disgusting.
It's
Foul. I love promotion games.
It feels like it's like 2019 again with those games.
It does, yeah. Maybe you look at it. Essex versus QMBL. That's a Southeast One fixture from when we were both
Peak
still
Southeast
happy.
won that.
Peak Southeast One.
One.
And that's why it's so funny. That's why Brunel should have been relegated, so we could have just had Southeast One, but Southeast Two instead.
Is that whole division? That whole division is made up of, at one point, what was Southeast One, isn't it?
Yeah, it was Essex. Well,
Essex,
UEA.
Imperial, Queen
Was it
Mary.
UEA? No, it wasn't UEA. Still up.
It's ARU. ARU were in there at one point.
What?
They were in there. They were in the Southeast
That's
One.
really funny.
Straight after COVID.
And now ARU are on the verge of going to Midlands One. What a turnaround!
Surely there's going to
What
be
a turnaround! No, what a turnaround! No realignments. The last game, I love this game. I think this game's going to be fantastic. Two teams, 1-0,
Undefeated.
Northwest 2. It's a real prove it game for both of these squads. It is the Salford Storm versus the Lancaster Bombers. This is a great game.
If Salford win this, then yeah, they've got to start thinking that they actually go up.
They've got to, right? But then obviously the Bombers, Salford beat Kiel, Lancaster beat Staffordshire. Again, we haven't seen much, as we sort of have, Kiel and Staffordshire populating the bottom of that table. LJMU, obviously, it's week 6. They're not going to be
there.
they're not going to be playing their first fixture until next week. Their first game is on the 7th against Kiel, and not to put a damper on it, there's a possibility that game gets called off, and then the LGMU haven't played a game in the first half of the season because that div has only got 4 games apiece. They can squeeze them all at the end potentially, right?
I think it's just difficult with those divisions because I think Bucks do try the best that they can with those because
this is it. Like it's someone's fault. Like we discussed the other day, like weather happens. But LGM, you've had a big long layoff. They'll be the last team to play if the York St John Jaguars do get their game off against York this weekend. They'll be the last team to play, and you can't really forget about them. Like it wouldn't surprise me here if we can tell like a great comeback story for either Lancaster or Salford, and LJMU just come in and just ruin it completely in the back half of the season. LJMU were my team to go up, but I do agree that the team who wins this game is really going to have to consider that they may be playing Division 1 football next year.
I think, yeah, but like I said, it's a thing of like if we haven't seen LJMU yet, we don't know.
No, this is it, right?
So it's like it puts them in a great position, like a really, really fancied position. But until we see what LJMU do, for all we know, LJMU might lose next week.
Exactly, right? But I mean, I absolutely love this game. It's one of the most exciting games. If I wasn't doing a game, if I wasn't streaming a game, I could be convinced to make a 3-hour journey up to watch Salford versus Lancaster, genuinely. But instead, it'll be Bristol versus Southampton. Kickoff at 4 p.m. on Depth Shot Sports' YouTube, and that's the week 7 preview. It's this halfway point. Gross. I hate it. Disgusting. Vile.
We're gonna have no football left soon.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go to. It'll be Christmas, and I'll go back into the hole that I sit in when there's no Uniball on. Yeah, nothing else is going on in football. Nothing else. Nothing else. Stream at 4 on Sunday. That's it. Nothing else to promote. Do you got anything to promote? You got anything to promote?
No.
If you're in Cardiff, go to Cardiff versus Brunel. To be fair, if you're near anything, go to any game. Go to all the games. Go to all of them. Also, Bristol, stop being weird in the comments, man. Stop being weird. I know you're not watching right now, but stop being weird in the comments. Like, I like you guys, but you're starting to...
Just don't make it weird.
Yeah, just don't make it weird, bro. You're making it weird. That's it. Why are people still watching the show? We'll just